There's the game that I feel that we should talk about, which is Madden, and then there's the game that I would rather hear about, which is Rogue Legacy 2.
I think start with what you would rather talk about.
I would rather hear about Rogue Legacy 2. Let's talk about that.
All right.
Rogue Legacy 2 is out. It's got a whole new cast. It's got the Buccaneers. It's got the Washington football team. It's the truck stick is back.
The story mode back in this year. Career mode.
No, Jan, you've been playing Rogue Legacy. I've been playing Rogue Legacy. And Jan and I have come to the conclusion that either Rogue Legacy 2 is really hard or we're extremely bad at it.
And the counter argument to that is Ben is well documented as being good at video games. So I'm falling to the conclusion that it's really, really hard.
Like significantly harder than the first one? Like the first one was like a hard game, but not insurmountably so.
I remember the first game being really hard to beat.
Yeah.
Like, having a really good run was difficult. Like getting through some of the harder bosses was difficult. I haven't even made it to a boss yet. I've put only 4 to 5 hours in it because I was having some trouble syncing the controller. And playing that game on mouse and keyboard was hard with like the dashing and everything. There were just too many buttons. But now that I've got it working, it's a motherfucker of a game. You get hit like twice and you get knocked around. So it's a long time since I played the first one, so people will have to correct me if these aren't new. But one of the big new things I've noticed in this game, and I mean they tutorialize it right out the gate, is like if you get hit, you can hit a button. I think it's the jump button right after you get hit in the air to kind of do like a little recovery roll in air to kind of like pop out of getting just knocked around too much.
That sounds new, yeah.
The problem is I've often will do that and then just like hit a spike wall that's above me or something.
Right.
Is that just a position recovery, not a health recovery? Like you're just kind of righting yourself to land?
It allows you to attack again. Okay. Or another new thing in this game, the other kind of like main new feature is there's like kind of a downward aerial slash that you can use to bounce off of enemies, off of like lamps or furniture and stuff like that. I think Jan, you said it reminded you of the messenger thing last week. Yeah, it is very similar to that. So if you're playing right, like you're fighting an enemy, you get hit, you can kind of use that aerial recovery to position yourself like above the enemy, do the downward swipe again to kind of give yourself some more space from them, and then decide where you're going to land after that. But
yeah, I definitely feel a little bit more of a glass cannon in this game versus the first. And it's been a while since I've touched Rogue Legacy 1. But I just feel very vulnerable, not even depending on whatever class I'm playing as. Ben, are you picking up any of the newer classes? At least I think the Archer is new. I believe the Archer is new. Yeah,
the Archer's pretty fun. Like you said, though, like in a game where getting hit is so detrimental to your health. That's most video games.
What have they done?
I've opted towards playing the Barbarian a lot just because he's a little tankier. You've got that yell special move that's kind of a really good like get off me AoE attack. Yeah, it is quite difficult. Other than those two new things, it really feels like Rogue Legacy 2. Like it really feels like a sequel to it.
I assume like same basic progression of kind of big tower of upgrades that you hit between generations and.
Yep, and then you're going in there. You've got like a blacksmith where you can unlock new weapons. You've got an enchantress, which will give you new spells. There are I forget what they're called, but it's like the equivalent of, remember in the first game, you had another slot for like, you can dash or you can fly or, there's that. And to actually unlock those, you have to do a trial based around those. And those are all the same. It'll be like kind of a progression. So the first one you encounter, at least the first one I encountered, is the dash trial. And it's a very fun actual like way to tutorialize the dash, because it'll put you in like a combat scenario where you have to dash away from an enemy and then re-engage, but then it'll also put you in a platforming section to be like, here's how to use the dash to jump, here's how to use the dash with your downward sweep attack, so you can kind of like staircase around with no enemies.
Do they give you a lot of those all those kind of like devilish sort of like
the fairy chests?
A lot of them were like sort of like partially
no
puzzle
jumping.
Some of them were puzzle based, some of them were platforming based, some of them were combat, some of them were kind of a weird mixture of but in some like pretty clever ways, right? Like some of those challenge rooms in the first game were like pretty fucked up. Like, do they kind of do a lot of that stuff again?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've run into instances where defeat all the enemies, but the enemies aren't actual mobs. It's like targets, and on top of that, there's like a bunch of floating obstacles that'll take off some bits of health, and that'll qualify as like don't get hit. Also, kill all the enemies to get the fairy chest. And I've encountered like at least one every single run, just like you would in the first game.
How are the genetic traits? Like, is it a lot of like wildly new stuff?
There's a decent amount of new stuff.
I'm just guessing, but that seems like the kind of thing that they would iterate on in an early access phase. Like, it's like, oh, we launched with 20 genetic traits or whatever, and we're going to add another 50, or you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing they could easily add more of down the line, I'm sure.
Yeah. Right off the bat, the like new ones, definitely new ones, is like Diva, where you kind of have a spotlight shining on you, and everything else is grayed out. They have some old favorites. They got the IBS back. Everyone's favorite is Don't Worry.
Yep. Everybody loves a good farting video game character.
Nostalgia, where everything's black and white. Yeah. There's also like one of the skill tree upgrades. So that was the thing with the first game, is there were some traits that were just straight up negative. You like never wanted those traits. Yeah. This one, there seems to be a skill tree upgrade to have negative traits make you earn more gold.
Okay.
So it seems like they're interested in adding a way to kind of make that risk reward rather than just straight up like, well, I guess I'm not choosing this character because it has this class.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
That
sounds
cool.
I
definitely got to play more.
Yeah.
It's still early access. They've still got quite a bit to add, like based on their roadmap and stuff. But
do you know if the whole game is there? Like, can it be finished yet? Or
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't even gotten to my first boss.
Yeah.
Ben, do you remember there being warp portals in the first Rogue Legacy? Okay, that wasn't a new thing then.
They were typically like near the entrance of each of the biomes, so you could like, if you wanted to do a run where you fought all 4 bosses, you could kind of warp around. It's funny to me, like I was playing this and I was like, yeah, this really feels just like, another Rogue Legacy. They haven't like, they tightened up a few things, but they really haven't super iterated on a lot of stuff. And so I was like, it's kind of fucked up that Rogue Legacy 2 might it's another one of those. It might be out Spelunky. It's another one of those, because that's coming out in a couple of weeks.
God,
and that right. Spelunky 2 is very much a game that looks like it's another Spelunky. It's just interesting that we have both of these kind of back to back.
I have to count the days. Hang on. Let's see.
It's like 2 weeks, right?
About right? September 11th, I want to say, or 4th.
3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, 3 weeks from now. God, that's pretty soon.
Yeah.
That being said, this game, for looking as much as it does the original one, it like adds like a different depth of combining like 3D animation in like the form of 2D side scrolling, where it just looks really good though.
Does it still control just as well as like kind of? I mean, like I remember Rogue Legacy having like a very specific feel to the movement. Like you kind of, it's hard to characterize. You almost like glide around, like the back and forth movement is like so smooth, and like you're like kind of quick off the starting line. Does it still feel like that?
It still felt like that to me. Yeah, I think I wound up missing like the roll that you'd get in a Dead Cells. I wish I had that, and I feel like the game would be like near. I feel like it'd be better at the game if there was a dodge type of roll versus just jumping to avoid stuff.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's neat. Early access. Also, it's like right on the front page when you fire up the game. Their next planned update is like 20 or so days.
Oh, cool. Chat said that it's basically like a biome and a half right now. It's like one full biome, and then there's like you can get into the next one, but it's not fully implemented yet. Is this what I'm getting from this? So, yeah, that sounds.
So
cool.
We almost finished it, Ben.
Yeah, great. All right.
Yeah,
you can do maybe we're good at it.
Oh yeah.